I think it's Tuesday. Is fate real, or is fate what we make it? And so the answer to those two questions are yes. Hello and welcome to my channel. In case you're new here, I'm Rachel and I post about cooking from scratch, herbalism, and lots of books. Today is the start of a new reading vlog. Ignore all of this, I was out working with the chickens. And I'm so excited to jump into it. So I'm currently reading Expiration Dates. You probably hear my vacuum and I apologize. It's a little robot. His name is Robbie. I love him. So I am reading Expiration Dates by Rebecca Sorrell. I'm only like 50 pages in and I am enjoying it. I think I know the moral of this book, but I don't know yet. Hopefully there's a twist that I haven't figured out yet. That's kind of my plan. If not, I'll still enjoy the book, but I already know kind of the premise behind it. So the idea of this book is that our main character, who I cannot remember her name ever. I can never remember the names of the characters I'm talking about. It's a problem. But this girl gets a name in a time frame whenever she like breaks up with someone or is starting a new adventure. She gets a name and a time frame. And along the way, she meets whoever that person is, and she knows that she's only going to be with that person for however long is on that sheet of paper. It's so interesting that the idea is she doesn't know where this piece of paper come from, but she follows it, and everything is exactly, she meets the person, they're together this long, and they break up, and she's unattached. So I think the idea of this book is really interesting, that an outside source can really control your life. But hopefully there's more to it than just that. So I am going to continue reading. I'm probably gonna make a cup of tea in a minute. Kind of want to bake something. I'm in like a bakey mood. It's really windy and rainy outside, so we'll see. But I'm going to get reading in this book and I will check in with you guys in a little bit. Okay, so it's day 2 of the reading vlog. Yes, I have a green stalk in my living room. Gotta get that put away. But I wanted to sit down for a second and talk about expiration dates. I'm a little more than halfway through. I am enjoying it. I do think there's something a little weird happening with our main character, whose name I cannot remember, and Jake, who is supposed to be like her forever love. That's not a spoiler. It's literally like first 10 pages of the book. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it. But I love Hugo, who is our main character's best friend. And there's also something weird there. So maybe I don't exactly know how this book is gonna go, but we'll see. I am enjoying it. I just got back from town. I went and got a dirty chai because I needed something, and it's amazing. And so now I'm gonna continue reading. So I will catch up with you in a little bit.
Nothing much. I should throw this away at some point.
Hello, it is Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday. And I am sitting in my car. I have to open work in a few minutes, but I have some time. And I wanted to fill you in about expiration dates. So the way expiration dates ended is kind of what I was expecting, but kind of not. I told you guys there was like a little weird thing going on with our main character and Jack. Was that his name? I don't even remember their names anymore. But there was like, yeah, it was Jack. There was a weird thing with Jack and our main character, and then Hugo and our main character. And that gets explained almost immediately after I made my last comment about there's something weird going on with all of them. And it's just so interesting because the way I thought the book was going to go is basically how the book went. It talks about letting things outside of your immediate circle choose your fate. And it's kind of questioning, is fate real, or is fate what we make it? And so the answer to those two questions are yes. Yes, it's real, and yes, it's what we make it. Fate in the context of this story is like, what do you put your weight into? What do you fully believe? And if you fully believe that fate is real and you have no control, how are you living your life? Are you going to let that really dictate how your life goes? And so I think it's a really interesting commentary on fate and outside influences and trusting yourself, because even though she was giving these slips of papers with names and how long they would be in relationships, she just trusted this outside source so much more than she trusted her gut. And so it was kind of her way of like being non-committal and not having to, commit. That's really what it is. She said, okay, well, I'm only going to be with you for 6 months and that's it. And when that 6 month date comes, she ends it for whatever reason she can find. So the question kind of becomes, are we really subject to fate, or are we subject to the idea that something outside of our lives control us, and then we put into action and motion things that will make what we believe will happen. So it's a very interesting commentary on like the human existence, because to some extent everyone believes in fate, everyone believes in outside sources, whether that be God or a higher power, whatever that is. How much weight are you putting on those decisions in your life? And do you really believe and have faith that this thing that's telling you you only have this much time with this person, or you can only do this, is that really true? Or are you believing that just because that's what you've been told your whole life? So it's a very interesting commentary. Maybe I read more into it than was necessary, but I am happy it didn't end exactly like I thought it would, but it was pretty close. It was pretty close to what I thought would happen. So once I ended Expiration Dates, I've started listening to the audiobook of Bad Summer People. And I feel like I'm just listening to the audio version of like a Kardashian episode. It's crazy. It's wild. It's drama and scandal and everything you can think of for a perfect summer read. There's definitely a group of people I would not recommend this book to, but it's very interesting. And I think, I don't know, we'll see how it ends. Right now, everyone's like intertwined, and it's showing you how in each other's business they are. So it's going to be interesting to see how this book ends and if they all stay in each other's business, because I don't really know how they could. But we'll see. I'm only about maybe 40% through the audiobook, but we'll see. All right, I will catch up with you guys in a little bit. Let's be honest. Is this a vlog at all if we don't make some kind of dessert? I think I mentioned earlier that I was like craving baking, so that's what I'm doing. I have my cookie dough here. It's from sourdough discard. I've never made this recipe before, and it's pretty soft. So I'm gonna add a little bit more flour, and then we're gonna see if we can roll it. Like right now, it's not the consistency that it would roll. So I'm gonna add a little bit more flour, and hopefully that will get us to where we want to go. Who doesn't love a big old bag of chocolate chips? So I'm outside right now, as you can tell. I've been inside all day. I was at work, and so I just wanted to sit down. I have my cookies in the refrigerator. Because I use the sourdough discard, they have to ferment for a little while. So I have that going. Yesterday I made chicken broth out of some chicken bones that I had, and I always keep veggie scraps in the freezer so I can make broth when I have enough. So it's been a productive day. I'm about to go start dinner, but I wanted to hop on and talk about, what book did I read? We did Expiration Date. I've already talked to you guys about. I just listened to the audiobook for Pride and Prejudice, and I remember trying to read the book when I was younger, and I didn't really understand the writing, I guess, or I didn't really understand the language. And so I decided this year, for the rest of the year, it is the end of May, that I'm going to listen to a classic like once a week or once every 2 weeks to get into classic literature, and to also help me work through Rory Gilmore's reading list. I think it's going to be one of the only ways that I can actually do it, because I have a little bit of a commute back and forth to work, so it's the perfect time to get in a classic when I'm not really in the mood to like physically read it. The chickens heard me talking and they ran over. They're having the best time. Anyway, what was that? Oh, Pride and Prejudice. So I just finished listening to the audiobook of Pride and Prejudice, and I have to say I really enjoyed it. I don't think I'm in love with Mr. Darcy as everyone else seems to be. Like, he seems like an okay guy. What I think I've noticed is the chickens are under the table and they know they're not supposed to be on the patio. What I think I noticed is Darcy is like the quintessential romance love interest, and so I can see how every other male love interest I've read in like contemporary literature has been based off of Darcy, but I don't know that I just love his character as a whole in Pride and Prejudice. I've got to shoo these chickens, hold on. Okay, I got them down. They were chewing on my dill plant, so we'll see what they end up doing. Watching them walk by, they're watching me. They're so funny. But as I was saying, I liked Pride and Prejudice. I don't know that I really am the cult follower of Pride and Prejudice like so many seem to be. I can enjoy it for what it is, as like, I have a hair. I can enjoy it for what it is as a romantic novel, and how it would have been groundbreaking in Jane Austen's time. 1, to be a woman writing, but 2, to be a woman writing romance. If you can hear them, I'm sorry. They are being so loud. They know I'm doing something, so I can't shoo them. When? You know you're not allowed here. You're not. Girls. Hello. It is now, what is today? Wednesday. And I just got to work. As you can see, I'm in my work parking lot again. And I wanted to hop on and give a quick update for Bad Summer People by Emma Rosenblum. I don't know. I don't know if I'm enjoying this book. There's so much drama that makes it really interesting. There's a lot of like, I don't know how much I can say without just totally giving this book away. But what I will say, there's a ton of infidelity. There's a ton of he said, she said. There's a lot of past history with each other. Past romances are popping back up. And it's just, there's so much. And while I am enjoying it, I don't know that I'm enjoying it either. Like, there's just so much, and it's kind of like overwhelming a little bit. I still feel like I'm listening to like the audio version of a Kardashian episode, or like a real life, the Real Housewives. I kind of feel like it's the Real Housewives of insert city here. But I am going to finish it. I'm a little more than halfway through, so I'm almost done with it. And then I'll give you my full thoughts on the book. I just don't know that I'd recommend it. There's a very specific group that I would recommend it to, but as an overall, I don't know. It's not really my thing. I heard a lot of great reviews about it, and I don't know. What I do like about it, though, is every chapter is like 2 parts. So it makes it a little bit long. But every chapter is in like 2 parts, and you get 2 perspectives. So all of the characters on Fire Island gets their voice at some point and gets their point of view across at some point. And I really enjoy that, because it could be done confusing, but it's done really well. And so when every new person has like their time to talk or their POV, it really does make sense and it really adds to the story rather than distract or take away. And it keeps, like, it's easy to keep up with who is who and what dynamic they're in. And I really like the dual timelines. So like in one person's POV, we'll see something happen and then it'll switch POVs and the timeline will change. So you see what that person was doing leading up to that timeline. And I really enjoy that. So you're getting like the full picture of what's happening on Fire Island during the summer, and it's crazy. So I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna listen to this book. Hopefully I'll finish it today, and I will see you guys in a little bit and give you my final opinions. I just got home, and the first thing I wanted to do was go ahead and check the garden because it's the first thing you see when you pull in. And so I thought I would share what's going on in the garden with you guys. Lots of beans are growing. That's exciting. And then I have two cucumbers or squash or zucchini. I don't remember. Ooh, these are looking good. Lots of flowers are happening, and that's exciting. I also have some more beans in this area. And then I have my peppers are over here. They're not doing anything yet. That's okay. I have my tomatoes right here. I gotta get cages on them. Lots and lots of tomatoes. This guy's doing so well. Basil, I planted some flowers because, I mean, you have to have flowers, right? And then these were just some extra peppers and things. And then over here, I have some more tomatoes, lots of tomatoes, some peppers. I think that might be an okra right there, but I don't know that for sure. Over here, this line is going to be sunflowers. I have nasturtiums. And then these are my loofahs, and wow, they are taking off. Like, look at this guy. He's doing so well. So I am pretty pleased with all this progress. So shocker, I'm outside again. This time I'm on the front porch. I wanted to hang out with my blueberry plants because why not? That was weird. And I just wanted to talk about the book that I had just finished listening to, the audiobook. I just finished listening to Bad Summer People. I had very mixed emotions about this book. The way it ended, I definitely saw the way it ended not ending the way I saw. So I don't know how to explain it. The way this book ended is not really what I had predicted. I kind of thought that our main couples would not be in each other's business the way that they are in the beginning of the book and the beginning of the story, and that kind of stands true. Our couples do kind of separate themselves out a little bit. Like, the story starts and Jason and Sam are best friends, and they grew up going to this island called Fire Island, and there they met Rachel, who was a native to the island, I believe. And so they all just grew up summering on Summer Island, and they're like stupid rich. I thought I saw a wasp nest. They're like stupid rich, and it's just like, this book is definitely a book of indulgence in every way possible, and relationship indulgences and financial indulgences and just whatever you can think of. Alcoholism, there's a slight drug usage mentioned, but really that's very small. It's not like a big part of the story. So I really enjoyed the way the story was told. It had multiple POVs. It had multiple parts of the chapter that really brought you into the story in a way that I don't know that many books do. So we got a lot of different voices happening. We got a lot of different POVs. We had a lot of different stereotypes. We had a lot of different cover-ups. And so we really got to see the story throughout the whole thing through everyone's perspectives. And some of the perspectives I don't know that we necessarily needed. I think they were kind of thrown in and kind of thrown away. So I just have to quickly mention the ending of this book because I'm a little thrown off by it, to be honest. There is a death on the island, and I'm not going to say who because that is kind of like a major spoiler. But there is a death on the island, and the person who dies, she's not a major player, but she's mentioned throughout the book. So you're very aware of who she is and her standing on the island. And so when she passes away, you see her death from like 5 different POVs. And each person, I had to count how many people there were, believe that they had a hand in killing her. But, oh my word, the last 2 pages really talk about what happened. And I mean, I had a feeling the person who did it, or the person who had a hand in it, was the person who had a hand in it. Like, I just had a feeling it was this person. And at the end, it's discovered how this person's hand in it really did matter. And oh my word, I wish I could say more. And if you've read this book, please, 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 please message me, because we need to talk about it. I need to talk about it. It's so good. So those are my thoughts on this book so far. I will probably have more thoughts at the end of the monthly wrap up, but I wanted to hop on and talk about it while it was still fresh in my mind. I am going to let you guys go. I'm going to go find my next read. I've started another audiobook. I don't know if I'm going to talk about it yet. I don't know if I'm liking it yet, so I don't know if I'm going to finish it. I'll probably finish it, but I'm not going to talk about it yet because I'm not far enough into it to even really mention it. So I'm going to go find my next read. I'm going to go probably find some hot tea because I need something, and then I will catch up with you guys in a little bit. Good morning and welcome to the final day of this reading vlog. It is Friday morning and I'm sitting in my car, as been the theme of this vlog. I have a few minutes before I have to go open, and so I thought I would talk to you guys. So I am currently listening to the audiobook for The Body in the Garden by Catherine Schlellman. The picture will be right here. I'm only like 2 hours in, and I think it's a 10-hour audio listen, and I'm 2 hours in. So I'm at the point where the murder has happened and they found the body, and now they are like getting the ball rolling on who is the person in the garden. Where did he come from? Does anyone know who he is? Does anyone know who the murderer could be? That's kind of what's happening. I'm only on chapter 4 or chapter 5. I'm not that far into it. I am enjoying it. Something that really aggravated me about this book is the police commissioner, or whoever it is that they brought in to investigate the murder, the night of the murder, did not want to listen to Lily, who is the woman who found the body. She's our main character. She overheard a discussion happening, or an argument happening between 2 men, and then she heard the click of the pistol being drawn, and she heard the gunshot, and then she went back and found someone to go look through the garden with her to see, like, okay, is there a dead body in the garden? The answer is yes. Surprise, surprise. And so when the police are called, she tries to tell them what she overheard, what she witnessed, and the main detective police guy is like, you're hysterical, you need to go lay down, maybe you'll feel better tomorrow, and won't even let her get out what she had seen, and she was the one to see it. So that really aggravated me. But this book is also written, I think, in like the 1800s England, and so ladies are not supposed to be a part of such hard discussions, even though she's a very smart, quick, very witty woman. It doesn't matter, because she's still a woman and she has no right or no need to involve herself in the murder of what happened. So that aggravated me a lot. It aggravated Lily a lot, our main character, and it aggravated her friend. He's a captain. I think his name is Jack. For some reason this week I think every main character's name is Jack, and I've only been right like maybe this one time. I've not been right very often. But it aggravated him, and so they decided the next day they were gonna go talk to the police. And of course, unexpected twists happen, and they do talk to the police, but they find out that I'm just gonna say it. They find out that they have basically been paid off to not investigate. So now, of course, Lily is taking it upon herself to investigate what happened. So that's where I am. Again, that's like chapter 4. I'm not really giving away spoilers, but if you do think it's a spoiler, I will put a tag in here to let you know when to skip to. But I just wanted to hop on, talk about what I'm reading. So far this week, this week I've read Pride and Prejudice. Or was that last week? I've read Pride and Prejudice. I've read Bad Summer People. I read Expiration Dates, and now I am reading Body in the Garden. And I hope I finish it because that'll be 4 books for this vlog. But if not, 3.5 isn't bad. So I will catch up with you guys after work, and we will see where we are. So it is the last update I'm giving you guys of this vlog. I've had so much fun getting back in the habit of vlogging with you and talking to you guys about books, and I'm so excited to be back in the habit. Hopefully I keep up with it. I know I posted like 6 months ago last time. So my plan is to be consistent again and talk to you guys. In this vlog, I read Pride and Prejudice, Expiration Dates, Bad Summer People, and I started Bodies in the Garden. I will have all of those books listed here for you to look at. I enjoyed everything that I started reading. I gave you a little bit of my thoughts about Pride and Prejudice and how I liked it. I think if I had read it at a different time, like a different point in my life, I may have liked it a little bit more. But I do see how people become like obsessed with Jane Austen and her novels. 1, because it was uncommon for a woman to be writing in her time, and 2, for her to be writing romance in such a raw way that just was not done. And so I think we can all appreciate what Jane Austen did and what she forged the road for the rest of us to come behind her. And I definitely see how Darcy has impacted so many of like modern day novels about love and romance and the ideal man. I definitely see that Darcy influence on literature. The next book I read was Expiration Dates, and I do not remember the name, but I'll have the picture over here for you to see. And I did enjoy this book. It's always hard to talk about books without giving so much away. But what I will say is I did think that the questioning of, do we believe in fate because of outside forces telling us it's real, or do we believe in ourselves that it's real? And that's kind of what this book toys with, is if you were given every boyfriend you're ever going to have, or every girlfriend, and a time frame, you have free will, and you've decided that you're going to end that relationship in this time frame because someone outside of you told you it's time, or is it because you really believe that it's time? So you really have the discussion of free will and fate and expiration dates, and I did enjoy it. I knew there was something a little wonky going on with our characters, Jake, and I cannot remember her name, and Hugo. What is her name? Daphne? Is that her name? I think it's Daphne. So I really saw there was something wonky going on between Jake, Daphne, and Hugo, and I couldn't quite figure out what it was. Like, in the back of my mind, I had a little bit of an idea of, there's something happening here, what is this? And then when it finally comes out, it's like, oh, okay, that's why this felt weird to me. So I think you guys are gonna like Expiration Dates. I think, me being an English major, I tend to overread into books because that's what I was taught to do. I was taught to analyze word choice and syntax and, you know, all of those things. So I tend to look into books a little bit deeper than maybe what you would get. So you might enjoy this a little bit more than I did, and you might not get the free will discussion out of it like I did. Bad Summer People. That was the next book I read. After Pride and Prejudice and Expiration Dates, I listened to Bad Summer People. And my word, I felt like I was I felt like I was listening to the audio version of a Real Housewife of insert choice city here. It definitely was all about indulgences, infidelities, secrets. There are lots of secrets going on this island, and even a little bit of finding yourself. You follow this group of really rich people who summer on Fire Island, and I think it's an island off of New Jersey or New York or somewhere around in that area. And so you follow them from when the kids get out of school until they go back in August. And so you have this whole time frame, and you have multiple POVs of what is happening throughout that summer. And each chapter is broken into 2 parts, and so each part you have a different POV. So as things are happening, as events are unfolding, you are getting 2 perspectives on that event that's unfolding. So you really get a more clear idea of what is happening on the island rather than just following one person's perspective. I enjoyed this book. Would I recommend this book? To an elite group, yes. I don't know that I would recommend it to everyone. I think it's very much a specific group of people would enjoy it. The ending was a little bit of a plot twist, but not really, because so there's a death on the island, and it happens towards the end of the book, so I'm not going to tell you who it is or how it happens because that would be a major spoiler. But there's a death on the island, and as I'm reading about what happened that night of this woman's death, I'm thinking, okay, it can only be this person. This one person has the motive, the opportunity, the means. This is the person who did it. And so as we are following the events leading up to this person's death, and even after, I'm still thinking, okay, it's this one person. But there's a few things that go into that make you think, oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this isn't how it happened. And then the last 2 pages, page and a half, it really breaks down this person who did it. You get their perspective on the event, and you're like, oh, I was right. It was this person that did it, and now I don't like this person even more because this person's awful. And so I'm trying really hard not to give pronouns because that'll be a little bit of a spoiler. But it was a good read. I did like the twist at the end. I liked that it wasn't just about following these really rich, snooty people, and there was a little bit of substance behind it. The final book that I started, I've not finished it yet, is Body in the Garden, The Body in the Garden. It is based in, I think, the 1800s. And I talked a little bit about it earlier in this vlog. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying the setting I like a lot. I like this time era a lot. What annoys me is the way that men treat women and how they dismiss women. Lily is our main character, and she's the one who overhears an argument happening at a soiree thrown by her friend, and then she hears a gunshot. So she runs to find someone to help her find the body or help her understand what's happening. And the person she finds is like, oh, you're tired. You need to go lay down. And she's like, no, you're going to come with me. We're going to find this body that I know is in the garden. And so they walk through and they find the body, and the police are called. And so again, Lily tries to tell the police commissioner or detective, whoever it is, what she heard, what she saw. And the police detective is like, you're hysterical. You need to go to bed. You're a woman. You don't need to be thinking about death. You can't help. And so that is what really has aggravated me throughout this story so far. And I understand that's very much of the time, but if I was alive in this time frame, that would drive me crazy because women are important, obviously. So that's about where I am. I hope I'm not giving any spoilers for these books. I don't think that I have. If you've read any of these books, please leave me a comment below telling me which ones you've read and if you would like to talk about them. I would love to talk about Bad Summer People with someone if you've read it. I think it's okay. It's probably, I think I put it at like a 3.5 star, maybe 4, I don't remember. Just because it's such a specific niche or genre that I don't know who I would recommend it to, but I'm sure there are some people. So I'm going to end this video here. I hope you enjoyed spending the week with me, and I will see you again very soon. I have a few ideas up my sleeve about videos and content to make. So I hope you will stick around and we will get to know each other once again. I will see you guys soon.
Stepping on your roller coaster, going down.